We continue with our next slot, Integration, the New and Old World, a story of ArcXP Eidos and their integration with Kordiam. And please join me on stage, Robert Müller, software developer at Jambit. Robert Müller.
Thank you.
You will talk about the integration of Kordiam with web CMS and print CMS and how you synced articles, workflows, states, and more. And we are excited. Your stage.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Yeah, hello. My name is Robert Müller. I work for Jambit. We are an IT solution here, and we develop many systems for media groups like the Matzak Mediengruppe or Handelsblatt or FAZ, just a media segment because I work there right now. We have many other partners we work for. And today I would like to show you some integration for Kordiam with our partner Gutenberg Rechenzentrum. We work together on this for the Matzak Mediengruppe. The project is the One Platform project from Redaktionsnetzwerk Deutschland. It is a news site platform which provides many different features like an app, website, and newsletter, push messages, many things. And we built this in native AWS, and more than 30 regional partners are currently using this platform. It's a small overview of the parts that are using the One Platform. Because it's not easy for these news sites to maintain the IT infrastructure for websites, apps, and content management systems, because it's expensive and it's not part of their core expertise. Because of this, the One Platform provides them with a service that concentrates all these things in one platform, which is provided to all these partners. What was missing from the system before our project was that they were all, not all, but most of them were using Kordiam, and we had no integration with Kordiam at that point directly into the One Platform. So our challenge was to ease the editorial workflow for the news sites and make them not reliant on manual workflows for all three systems they were using. One is Kordiam, obviously, as their planning tool. Then we have the Arc Publishing as their digital content management system, and Eidos Media for the print content management system. And now our problem was that they all were sharing some data that they have to manually input in all three systems. This obviously creates some problems like errors or inconsistent data, because data was input in Kordiam from the planner, but maybe it was forgotten to add it to the Arc Publishing system. So the author wrote the article and thought, okay, he had to write them until this deadline, but the deadline was changed in Kordiam, but not in Arc, and he did not know this before. So our tool is built to sync all this data so that no manual work is needed anymore, so that all update is entered in all three systems by just one change in the system. And so the tedious and time-consuming work is gone for the editorial teams, and they can concentrate on their actual work. The plan for the system was to create a middleware in our system that connects all three systems and relies on the events of the different systems and makes changes to the needed system. So that all systems are connected and all the data is provided in all systems. Now our approach, first we had to look out for the Kordiam integration, and there are 3 different approaches that you can take. Some of them were already explained today. I will just go over them a bit. There's one, the global integration for Kordiam, which uses an HTTP call or webhook, which sends the data for an event through our system that you provide to Kordiam. And the downside of this approach is that there are only 3 retries with a 5-second delay in them. And after this, if the system is down or just did not receive the event, the message is lost. Another approach is the platform-specific integration. This one is kind of similar to the global integration, but events are tied to a platform where you can select different content management systems and tie them to a platform in Kordiam, and you get an HTTP call if something specific changes. The pro for these 2 approaches is that you get the Kordiam data with the HTTP call, and you do not have to call Kordiam every time you receive an event. Additionally, the platform-specific integration also has the downside of only 5 retries. It's a little bit different like the other, but the interval is smaller, so only 1 second between the retries. And the last of the integration methods is the message queue integration. In this one, Kordiam pushes every event to the Kordiam message queue, and you can pull this queue in a specific time frame, or we build it a little bit different. I will get to this a little bit later. And you only get the ID of the event, but you get every event that Kordiam sends out or pushes to their queue, and you do not miss any event. This is the pro for this integration method. But you only get the ID, which is a little bit of a downside. But nonetheless, we chose the message queue integration because we wanted to make sure that every event could be processed. And yes, this was our main point for this, and we could just call Kordiam for every event to get the needed data. Now to our syncing process. We have a few different things in progress. One is the Kordiam sync to the digital content management system Arc Publishing. On this one, we store the Kordiam ID of the element in the Arc Publishing system so that we can also process the synchronization from Arc to Kordiam so that we know which element is connected to the story in Arc. Obviously, we update Kordiam via the REST API, and we use ourselves the queue. We built a network of brokers with Kordiam, and so we get every event they push to their queue in our own queue and can make sure that we can process every message. Additionally, we also provide the option to start the creation of a story in Arc Publishing. If there's some breaking news or something, you can just trigger a workflow in Arc, and we create a Kordiam element from this story. Just a small overview of things we sync from Kordiam to the Arc Publishing platform, the title, status, obviously also the paid status of the story, which is planned as a free story or maybe a paid article, and some other things like the platform and categories. Also the publication in Kordiam builds the circulation in the Arc Publishing system, and like other things that are important for a story, like the text length and the deadline. Additionally, we also had to integrate the Eidos Media print content management system. For this, we use a trigger on a platform in Kordiam with a status change, and if this is selected from a user, we use the data in Kordiam to export the data to Eidos Media, or give them a ping with the data in Kordiam and the needed data that they need to get all the article data from Arc to Eidos Media. Additionally, we also had, for safety reasons, create a little fallback in Arc so that if Kordiam is ever down, it's never happened before, but just to make sure, we built something that it can also be triggered in Arc. And the data is, before this, is synchronized with Arc. So every print channel is also saved in Arc where a user cannot see it. But we have it if Kordiam is not available, and can then send the data to Eidos in the correct folder, work folder, where it's needed. If there's no print information available, we use some default data. But yes, you can always select the print data and we sync it every time it's input in Kordiam. Some problems that occurred or that you have to look out for if you build a middleware is one is the rate limits. We actually kind of ran into them a little bit in the beginning because we decided to update all the publications if synchronization from Arc comes with some status or publishing individually. But we did not really look out for how many publications a user would actually put into Kordiam. And in our test was a little bit less than later on 10 to 20. And yeah, Kordiam has some rate limits in place that you can't update them in a short time frame. So we decided to update them in one go with one request. Yes, you have to look out for something like this. Also, the MQ limitations, obviously, is that you only get the ID and not the data. And we have to call Kordiam every time. So the more the one platform grows, we have to look out for the Kordiam rate limits because there are also some rate limits in place for the GET requests. So we have to monitor this right now because the stricter rate limits. And one important fact is that you also have to look out for an infinite loop. If you build some middleware that synchronizes data back and forth, if one update triggers an update in another system and this system triggers it back, yeah, you have to prevent something like this from happening, obviously. Now I want to show some small live demonstration of our system. It works. Yes. So we had this demo environment from Kordiam that we have. So it's obviously not production. And if I create some article here, and put just like some information here in the custom field, for example, you can select if an article is a paid article or not. And with the tasks, you can select an author and a deadline and how long an article should be. You can also add circulations for the digital CMS where you want to circulate the article later on. You can add as much as you want. I just need 2 right now, not that many. What you can also do add another task to a system, build a gallery or a gallery, which creates a gallery in Arc directly and links them to the article directly. So if I save this now, to wait for a second. Okay. Yeah, what you see now is that the links are added to the different tasks and also the publications. With these links, you can jump directly to Arc and see that the article is created with the chosen circulations, the title, author, the deadline, and so on, so forth. text length, and you can also see here's a gallery in place. Obviously, there are no images yet. You can also select to jump directly to the photo center in Kordiam and edit a gallery directly. Oh yes, just a small demonstration for the, yeah, okay. For synchronization back, just a small status change. You can also see this for a second. Yes. As you can see, now the article is ready to get reviewed or approved. And what you can also do is send the ARC article. Obviously, no, there is no content in it, but you can still export it to our print CMS with a status change. And if I save this, okay, now you can see a second status that says the export is started, so that the user gets direct feedback that something is happening, and we do not have to wait for the export to finish. And now you can see a third status that says the export is finished, and the article is available in Eidos Media. This link would lead you directly to the Eidos Media system. I don't have access, so I can't click it right now, but it opens the software directly. Now I'd like to continue with the presentation. Just some additional information from the presentation. As I said before, this was a smaller part of the One Platform project. And we later on, after the initial integration, merged back into the bigger project, the One Platform. And as the One Platform has some more features, and there came up some other problems with the new features, like the newest newsletter or smart functionality that they use, and to further streamline the editorial workflows and support the teams and to reduce their manual work. We also built into Kordiam some additional features for smarts. I don't know if you're familiar with smarts. It's a concise and visually structured version of a longer in-depth article. This is just some bullet points. It's based on the smart brevity format. Maybe you know it if you're in the editorial team. Yeah, and we use some templates for this approach that the user can directly select in Kordiam. There's no laser pointer here, right? You can maybe see it as we added another task for this case, which is a smart task, and you can input the same information you also can for the deep dive article, as we call it, an author, deadline, and so on. But you also have a custom field. It's the one on the bottom, where you can select a special template, which we use to create the smart article. In this case, it's a basic smart type. And if you select this and save, we create a smart article from the deep dive article. And you can then jump directly to this one. And we also connect the two articles so that you can jump from, or the reader can jump from the smart article to the deep dive article and so forth. And also the editor in the our publishing editorial dashboard. Another feature that was also connected with the smarts is the newsletter feature. One of the newsletters uses the smarts for their newsletter, so they put many smarts into a newsletter and build an article from it. This was creating bigger manual work for them because they had to search every article and then add it to the newsletter article, and they had to do this for every smart they wanted to add. So we decided to add a Kordiam feature where they can plan the newsletter directly. They can add a publication to the Kordiam element with a special category for the newsletter edition and the date. And if they select a special status on any of these or on any of the combination, we search for all the smarts and the newsletter article and combine them. So we add all the smart articles to the newsletter article, so the editor just has to drag and drop them into the article. The drag and drop part is for safety reasons, because this workflow can be started every time and again and again. And if we decided to add them directly to the content, we could possibly override some changes that an editor made and did not want to get overwritten. So we decided to just add them and let the user drag and drop wherever he wants to have them. And you can see this a little bit here. So this is a list view in Kordiam, where one newsletter is built, like the top one is the newsletter article. Then below are two smarts, it's just for demonstration. And then we can select the status, and we search for every smart we can find and import them into the newsletter article. Yeah, it's just more. Now I want to show you just some small overview what we plan to do in the near future. Like I said before, the smarts also use the templates in Arc Publishing, and we want to extend this functionality so that templates can be used on every article. But there are many templates for the editorial teams, and to realize this functionality, we talked to Kordiam, and they are currently building something for us, but I don't want to say much, so stay tuned for updates from Kordiam. And another functionality is the synchronization of circulation, so that we are currently not syncing back the circulations from Arc, but we want to build this into the middleware as well, so that you can directly see where an article is currently published or will be published if it's currently scheduled.